Hello and welcome back to Untold Extraordinary Stories. Now joining us is my mom, May's sister, Carlotta. Okay? And before we took our break, May, you were, of course, talking about how you met your youngest daughter's dad in Germany in a club, stumping all over his feet, and you didn't have anything to drink, supposedly. All right? So, but then I stopped you. I stopped you because what I wanted to know was, how did you feel knowing that you had family, in America, and you were going through all of this? Did you ever try to reach out to us? I know I asked Grandpa, he said you ran away, and I was always wondering where you were. Of course, we know that, right? So what were you thinking, okay, when you got family in America, your sister's here, okay? What was told to you?
Well, the reason why I didn't have all these contacts with all of you, number one was the lady who was living with my dad tried to block every chance that I could get to talk to anybody. And even before that, when Daddy was coming back to the States, he wanted to bring me. And what he said is that when we go to the States, you cannot stay with me because of my wife, but you would go and stay with your big sister. Because she was working with the police and she would take care of you, and she is more straightforward and she's a lady also, so you would stay with her. Everything was actually good planned till this lady spoiled everything. Now when Daddy and them after left Ghana somewhere in the 80s something, when Daddy left, when I was trying to ask people of Daddy's address, if I could find him, where could I go, they told me Daddy was dead, that my family in America, nobody wants to see me. I don't know where to start from.
Okay,
normally I thought Daddy was from Houston, Texas. But within the time and when Daddy came and all, I realized it was Dallas, Texas. Even they put me on the wrong track that I couldn't even find nobody. And you can even go to the nets and find Robertson in Houston, Texas. Do you know how many Robertsons are there? I researched a lot. And anybody I spoke to on the phone was a white man. So then I knew this is not my daddy. Because my daddy, when he picks the phone, the first thing he would tell me was, "Hey kiddo, what's going on?" And all these guys I called, nobody said anything like that. From the first talking, I know this is not my daddy. So I gave up.
So you made calls actually trying to find my father.
Well, I did, especially when I was with when I and my last daughter's father came together. Because he was like a computer freak. He would spend his whole time on the nets and all. And he was really that time really trying his best if I could find my father. Because I was also facing paper problem in Germany. When I say paper problem, it means I was in Germany with no visa, no nothing. And I was also fighting to get somewhere to stay. So in this time that I was fighting for my stuff, that was around 2006. Was when one day I was supposed to deported back to Africa with my daughter, and I get a call.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off there, because I know that there's some things that are in between before you actually get up to that point there. One thing is, it is great now. They are together, as you can see. They love each other as if they actually grew up together. My mom was crazy about her, and also her daughter, who's in the studio with us today.
Yeah, she's our camera lady.
Yeah, but Mom, how did you feel knowing that your little sister? Because I remember we used to get pictures. We were kids. I would see a picture of May, and she looked like a little Vanessa Williams. When I look at the picture, you were sitting there looking beautiful, and it was like we had no strong contact to May. We just knew she was out there. She was out there somewhere. Mom, how did you feel knowing that you had a little sister that was out there and you couldn't really get next to her or get to her? How did you feel about that?
Well, I felt initially that it was just life, if I can put it that way. Because Dad had moved to Ghana and started this electric company, and it was just life. And he had a little girl. But the first time I ever heard of you is when she wrote me a letter, and I guess how old were you?
I was 8.
She was 8 years old, and she wrote me a letter asking me to buy her some shoes, and she drew a picture of her foot, and and she asked me would I send her some clothes. So I did do that, and you said you were bragging to everybody about your clothes were from America.
Yeah.
But then I would ask Dad about her, and he would say that he didn't know where she was, and that she was just out there. And like I said, I was concerned because I did tell him that she could come and stay with me. And I know I had my children as well as one of my sister had died. And I had her child. And then my mother had died. And had my little brother. But my house, as you know, our home, our home was always a home where all the kids in the neighborhood came. So and at that time I had the patience to bring on another. But I was so preoccupied, I guess, in working and, singing and doing all the things that I was doing, I didn't really think about May, and to the extent that that I was wondering what I could do to help. I was just thinking, okay, if she wants to come, she can come. I didn't know all the other problems you were having, because if I would have known that, you would have been there. But anyway, because she's my blood. So then when Dad died, which was 2 years ago, I met May for the first time. You found out he died on the internet, on Facebook. And then because my oldest daughter, she had posted that Dad had died. And so May called and I invited her in, and the rest is history. And I didn't feel that, who is this stranger? I knew she was my blood. When I looked at her, I said, oh yeah, she's my sister. Yeah, and so therefore, I just accepted her and just loved her. And I was listening to her story, and as I was listening to her story, I was thinking about, that's a story of hope, faith, trust. You had all of that and didn't even know it. But also, look at this beautiful dress that she has on. May stand up so they can see the beautiful dress she has on.
All those talents,
she and all of her doings and all of her trials and all of her struggles, it really made a beautiful woman from all of that, because she made this beautiful dress. And also she does hair. What else do you do? Nails. She's just a beauty queen. She can do all of it. And I think a lot of that happened as she was coming up because of the fact she had to do something, and she learned all these trades. So even though we go through things and our destiny and our walk and our purpose, sometimes I know that we do go through things, and because of the faith that I have and the beliefs that I have, even though we learn these lessons, there are things to put us on the path that we should go to make us rich in our spirit. And I really do appreciate my sister, and I do love her.
Me too.
That's great.
I do love her. She's so sweet. Yes, I appreciate her. Then when she comes to visit me, she gives me breakfast in bed every day. I tell her she does not have to do that. I said, I love you unconditionally. You don't have to. But I've learned that she's been so conditioned.
She's so giving.
Yeah, she is so giving. She's very giving.
Yeah.
She's been so conditioned through all of that she feels that she has to do something to make me love her. And I tell her all the time, man, you don't have to do all of that. Just do the right thing. That's all I ask of you, is just do the right thing. But I'm glad that she's here in America, and one day she'll be able to move, but she's waiting right now for her daughter to reach a certain age because of the laws and rules in Germany. And then she'll be moving out here in America. But the one thing that I am grateful for that she did not mention, even though some people wanted to say that she wasn't my dad came at the last minute when they were trying to deport her from Germany. That's why I said this is a story of faith and trust. When they were trying to deport her back to Germany.
Back to Africa.
Back to Africa.
Let her tell
you tell the story.
What I want to do is she's going to explain the story of what happened, because it all comes back to at the beginning of the whole show when I got the call from her. So what she's going to do is, when she was in Germany, they actually wanted to, of course, kick her out of Germany because her visa had expired, but she actually had to go into
I had to seek for political asylum.
At the police,
also arrested because I had no papers. I had to go to jail for 8 months. And when I came out of jail, then I have to seek for political asylum. And this political asylum, you get your visas every 2 months. I was living with 2 months visa for the past maybe like 6 years, 7 years, till my daughter was born, Anastasia. And one day I was home and they sent me a letter with police that I was supposed to be deported to Africa. Now this is very, very strange because I never ever thought in my life I would ever see my father again. At this moment I get a phone call and the guy goes like, when you pick this call you have 30 minutes to pack, so how many minutes you talk on the phone will be deducted.
That's the police
out of here,
when it was there.
out of your packing of your clothes. I've lived in that country for maybe like 8 years, and you know how women are. How can I pack all my life in 30 minutes? It's not possible. But this is how it is. And so when I picked the phone, I mean, the first time I had like a running stomach. And then the second time again, my heart started beating. I said, no, I have to pick this call. Because normally I don't pick no calls from Ghana. And the phone was from Ghana because I was thinking it was my mom again wanting money or wanting something again. But then I said, no, let me pick this call. I pick it. He goes like, hey, kiddo, what's going on? And I was like, Daddy? And he goes like, yeah, that's me. And I'm like, no, my daddy's dead. And then I go like, okay, then let me ask you questions. If you're my daddy, then you can answer it. And I said, yeah, how many sisters do I have? How many brothers do I have? And he goes like, who? Cookie Kalata? Your sister? Frankie boy? He started to call all the names. And then I was like, so where are you? Why didn't you? He said, okay, well, I'm looking for you now. Because I was very sick, and since I'm okay, something just tell me I have to look for you because something might be wrong. So after I spoke to him, 2 days later, he took a plane from Ghana. He came to Germany. I mean, even before that, the police people said, whatever destiny that I have is really strong, because they've never ever tried to deport somebody and they have to keep the person back because of a phone call. Because when they called the police station and said her father is an American, they go like, hey, if she's an American, just leave her. If her father is coming, let him send his passport picture. So daddy sent his passport copies to the police station. And then the police commissar called and they said that you people should leave her. And the police people who were in the house go like, whatever destiny you have is so powerful. I mean, this time we are leaving you, but we hope your daddy is coming. So 2 days later, my daddy came. I went with him to the police station. He went, he registered himself there as my father and everything. And 5 days later, we went to the American Embassy. When we got to the American Embassy, they said, actually, I was registered when I was born. That when I was 18, I was supposed to pick my passport. But all this, I didn't know about it, that I could do it. So I didn't do anything. So what they said is that, okay, for them to be also sure that daddy is my daddy, we had to do a DNA test. So then daddy goes like, you know something, this DNA test could help you one day and we're going to do it no matter what. So we did a DNA test. We got it like 2 weeks later. We brought it to the American Embassy. I can remember very well. We brought the DNA like 9 o'clock in the morning to the embassy. We spent the whole day with all the formalities and everything. And like evening 5 o'clock, I got an American passport. And this was the day that I said, I found my freedom. I mean, I've got everything that I was looking for. And the funny thing is, when I got that passport, the Germans still gave me political asylum paper for another 4 years to keep on me, because they didn't even want to accept the American passport.
Yeah, and that's something that, and when all that happened, right there, when Grandpa had gone to Germany, he always wanted to know where May was. What's going on with May?
Yeah.
So what'd you do then? At that point, I got the call.
Yeah.
That he found you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something else.
Well, yeah. When Daddy came, the first thing he said is that, you know something, we got to call Derek. Derek has been asking of you. He has been worrying me so much about you.
Derek and Thomas is family.
Yeah. So he said, we got to call Derek. And I said, okay, Daddy, let's call him. So I called him first, and he was like, he said, no, I'm driving, I got to stop. So he stopped, and then I gave you to Daddy, and Daddy was like, so we found her, and
I couldn't believe it.
And then the contact has always been there now since 2006.
Yeah. So then what happened after that then? So, in wrapping everything up, you see this is a Untold extraordinary story, as all of them are. But this was very, very close to my heart, my mom's heart, my whole family's heart. We love you, May. Happy to be here with us and seeing us.
I love you, Mom.
What a good thing also, which was very, very good, was that unfortunately after Grandpa had passed away, when he passed away, May found out. Then May came to America for the very, very first time. She's been here now probably 2-3 times.
No, this is my 5th time.
Oh, 5th time coming to America.
For 3 years now. 5
For
times.
5 times within 3 years. And as she mentioned, once her daughter reaches 16, and then she'll be able to permanently move to America. She has so many talents. I mean, when I go places with her and I go with her daughter, we walk in the mall. I just can't believe it. People stop and say, "Oh, that's a beautiful dress." We start talking. They like, "Oh, where you guys from?" And it's like, well, because if you think about it, we're real multicultural. My mom's family is multicultural. So a lot of people stop and say, "Where are you from?" Then they hear the strong accent. I don't have an accent, of course. I'm too cool to have an accent. So they hear the accent, and then they're like, "Wow, where you from?" And then we meet people from Israel in the mall. We meet people from where else? Oh, India.
India, yeah.
All these people approach us and wonder. Some of the people wondered, "Are we from where they from?" You get that a lot, yeah. But where are we from? We're from all over. So I want to thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us on Untold Extraordinary Stories. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. I love you guys.
Love you too.
Love you too.
And thank you for doing this video. I am so happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and sis, thank you that I could stay with you anytime I come
Oh,
to
of
Texas.
course. Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
He's in Atlanta now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, bye for now. See you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank